Hi there, this is Steve Spurrier. You can join University of Florida Hall of Famer Shane Matthews and also the two-time SEC Player of the Year every weekday as he brings you all you need to know about the Florida Gators, including news, analysis, opinions, and some of the biggest names in sports. You can find him on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, or wherever you listen to your favorite podcasts. Or you can watch him live at 8 a.m. on Facebook, YouTube, or Twitter.
Also have Wayne Hogan from the Florida Rising Stars Project join us, give us an update what's going on there. I know they got some other stuff with Coach Spurrier and Bobby Bowden going on. So now they say there's no sound. Okay, so let me tell our people here. Production issues. Okay, in the meantime, you and I can y'all hear us now? Facebook, they can hear us now. Okay, JC, everybody around the world can hear you now.
Oh,
and you're on the Titan MR hotline, and you're battling, JC. You're like Michael Jordan battling under the weather.
Yeah, it doesn't bother me. It's just something you got to live with sometimes, once in a while. I've been very fortunate in my life. I rarely get a cold.
Did you play tennis last night?
Yeah.
Your health tips?
Yeah, I didn't do that. But I did on Tuesday night. Probably that's why I'm still not fully recovered now. But I don't care. I had to play. I mean, I was scheduled to play, so I'm gonna play. QB, I love the Mercedes Dome that you're in there. LSU, Georgia. It's a great venue, but you know they've had some really great games with the Georgia Bulldogs in that building, as we know. And right now, that's the home of the Georgia Bulldogs for the next 2 weeks, assuming they beat LSU, and they will. And then they get to host a playoff game. I mean, could it be any easier logistically for Georgia and their fans? So, we announced that the 12-team playoff here a couple of days ago because the Rose Bowl decided to join in and not be a stick in the mud. And 24 is going to be great. It's going to be great.
Yep, I can't wait. Andy says here on Facebook Live, everyone claims AR has cleaned out his locker. What do we know? I don't know if that. I just know he ain't coming back. Whether he cleaned out his locker or not. There will be a lot. There's a lot of guys in the transfer portal from multiple schools. It will be crazy starting on Monday when it's all official. I did see where the Gators had offered, because I think in the FCS, their transfer portal is a different deal, if I'm not mistaken, but Rhode Island has this offensive lineman that everybody wants. Believe that. The Rhode Island Rams have an offensive lineman that people want. I think we offered him. So we'll see. There's going to be a ton of all over it's worse than the Wild Wild West. It's worse than NFL free agency. Yeah. I don't know how it's going to turn out.
It's a total redo of rosters, man. It's unbelievable. It's like
but what I'm saying though, JC, is there's no stipulations to it.
No,
because yes, you have a one free transfer, but if you are a graduate transfer, you actually have 2 free transfers. Think about that.
Wow.
So you can transfer to Florida, play a year, graduate, transfer somewhere else, and not have to sit out a year. So and take all the money that these people are going to be throwing around. It's going to be crazy.
Yeah. Now, I think part of why David Shaw decided to leave Stanford was because Stanford University, and money's really not a problem there, but they're not participating in those kinds of things. And they don't have a collective NIL transfer portal. And I think he saw the writing on the wall that school's just not going to be competitive in that arena. And so he quit. He left. They didn't ask him to. He just decided to leave. So you're going to have some true issues with some schools that just aren't going to be able to to participate in this wild, wild west roster building world we live in. And that's what it is. It's you build rosters with these crazy transfer rules. You build rosters with money that comes from third and fourth parties, and you build rosters from other schools where a kid decides, well, it's just I've been here 12 months, so it's just not working out. I have to go somewhere else. And I don't know if that's a healthy thing, QB. I mean, if Mac Jones
yeah, I mean, I have no problem with the transfer portion of it. I have the problem of what you can pay a player. That's what I have a problem with, because that's the main problem. And I said it from day one. NIL was ridiculous. It should not happen, but you got to deal with it. But think about it. As you just said, let's just use Drake May, for example. I don't think he's going to leave North Carolina because of his ties. He grew up going to North Carolina games since he was a baby. But do you think Drake May thinks he can win a national championship or even an ACC championship at North Carolina? North Carolina won the ACC championship since 1980. Okay. So my point is, he knows he's going to be a first-round draft pick when he's eligible to come out. He'd probably be the first pick. Him or Caleb Williams would be the first pick this year. But his parents, they're going to have so much money thrown at them from Alabama, from Ohio State, from every school in America. That's where I just think it's crazy. I just think it's absolutely nuts. Real quick, Brett says here on Facebook Live, brought to you by Mellon. Hey, Shane and JC, I know you guys are all in favor of the 12-team playoff. Can you comment on how you think?
Yeah.
Hang on. I got to get this thing working. How you think this team, the playoffs? Can you comment how you think it could take away from what makes college football so special now, the regular season games? Basically, that is true. But when you think about it, it's not like, I mean, I'm all for it. I don't care. As Coach Spurrier says, college football is pretty much the only sport that has a bunch of people sitting in a room that decides who's going to play for your championship. Now, in basketball, you have a committee, but you still have 68 teams playing. Football, baseball, you have a ton. I just think it needs to go to 12. I wouldn't have a problem if it went more than that.
Well, QB, I will tell you for a fact that, and you will agree with this, that regardless of a 12-team playoff, when Alabama shows up on Saturday night to your yard, like they did to Baton Rouge and like they did to Knoxville, those fans weren't thinking about 12-team playoffs. They were thinking about, wow, we want to win this game so badly. And rivalries will not cease to exist. You will still have huge intra-conference rivalry games that will matter to the fans and the players, okay, regardless of the playoffs. What the playoffs will do is allow for a team like Georgia, who you are going to be watching tomorrow in that building, to not have to travel to Santa Clara, California to play a football game. And that does matter. I mean, that absolutely matters for practicality, for logistics, and for things that will allow you to win a championship. So I don't think that the playoff is going to diminish regular season games whatsoever. If anything, QB, I think the playoff will make these regular season games actually more important, because it's all going to be about trying to get yourself in the best position now to win a championship through a playoff that will include the entire world of college football, that will allow for everybody to have a chance. Right now, as we've said forever and ever and ever, 4 to 8 teams, maybe that's it, have realistic chances to win a championship. And that's just not the way it should be. Did Middle Tennessee State, was their win at Miami this year diminished because they went down there and won a big game against a so-called Power 5 school? No, they went down there. If they won a game, if they win their Sun Belt Conference, they can be included in the playoffs now. So I don't have a problem. It allows everybody a shot, and it makes it more important now to win these games during the regular season. That's the way I'm going to look at it.
Yeah, Daniel asks, is freshman Max Brown starting in the bowl game? I would assume it will be Jack Miller would be the starter, and then Max Brown would be the backup, and Kyle Engel, the walk-on, will be your third guy. Text on the Titan Mar text line. Alan in Atlanta says, Drake made a UF pipe dream. This will be like Lane Kiffin sweepstakes. Lots of talk, then he'll get paid and stay at UNC. Don't forget, they have a real famous billionaire alumni as well, Jordan. They'll find the NIL money to keep him. Would be fools not to. No, I don't. Like I said, I don't think he leaves there, but everybody's going to want him. And do you not think Drake May, even with his North Carolina ties, if he has an opportunity to go play quarterback at the University of Alabama, you don't think he goes? I think he goes.
I think you at least think about it. Absolutely.
Yeah. This is a text from Josh in Mississippi.
Oh,
and I did see this, and I think this is an unbelievable stat. And I don't know who the hell comes up with these stats. He says Billy Napier's recruits, transfers included, were flagged for just one penalty in 2022, a total of 3,587 offensive and defensive snaps from Napier's guys and only one penalty.
How did Josh find that? How did Josh find that?
I saw it on Twitter. Some other, these Pro Football Focuses and these companies, they got stats for you. It doesn't matter what, they got a stat for you.
That's pretty good. Good work,
yeah.
Josh.
But that's crazy. That's crazy to think that out of the people he brought into the program, only one penalty all year. Yeah. All right, this is from Daryl. Good morning, guys. Obviously, Florida's going after quarterback in the transfer portal if Anthony Richardson doesn't come back. I think they were going after one anyway, from what I was told, which is more likely he's not. But if Jack Miller starts the bowl game and lights it up, what does that prove? That he would be just a good backup quarterback for next year. It doesn't matter if Max Brown, Jack Miller goes in there and throws for 500 yards against whoever we play. They are going after a guy who has played a lot of college football, who plays the position like a quarterback, if that makes any sense.
And wants to leave where he's at. So, yeah, I mean, remember, QB, if we're going to get a guy like that, and he's been pretty successful, that he has to really want to get out of where he is.
Well, I mean, Sam Hartman's a great example. I mean, he's thrown 108 touchdowns in his career. That's a lot. And he's played with lesser talent. He's a really good player. Does he want to get drafted in the 4th or 5th round and be a backup? Well, he's going to be a backup in the NFL. I think he's going to last a long time. Or does he want to have one chance of playing big-time football at a big-time school? So he's the perfect guy. Brennan Armstrong, the quarterback that started at Oregon, went to Virginia, had a really good couple of years, had a terrible year this year under the new coach. But he's in the portal. He's a really good player as well. So
he was great under Bronco. I mean, when Bronco was there, they set records there. You wouldn't think Virginia is setting records through the air, but that's a school that did with those two guys. You just have to find the right chemistry between coaches and players.
Yep, for sure. Mike asked, will Ricky Pearsall be back? If so, will they try to get him the ball more? I would hope. I mean, he's a good player. I don't know if he'll be back or not.
Yeah, he was good this year. Well, he was good when we saw him play and when he got the ball. I was always curious throughout the season, QB. I was always screaming, why aren't we throwing it to him more? Is he open? And usually he was, but they didn't target him enough. And if they did, Anthony didn't get it to him. And but that's neither here nor there now. I mean, they're 6-6. So I heard people say that Las Vegas is in play for the Gators to play on December 18th.
We'll know about noon, 12:30, 1 o'clock tomorrow, Sunday.
Yeah,
where the Gators are going.
Yeah,
and a lot of people say we shouldn't go play because we have people opting out, guys going pro, guys in the transfer portal. Look, we need to put our portion into the pot for the conference to distribute among everybody. So I don't know what the payout is of these bowl games that we are looking to be in, but we need to do our share, play in the game. Don't really care about the outcome. Obviously, you want to win it.
Yeah.
Somebody just asked, is Jack Miller's thumb 100%? I would think. I mean, I saw him warming up the last few games. He looks fine to me. I'm not a doctor, and I don't even talk to him, but I think he should be excited. It's his opportunity to go play, and we'll see. So, JC, did you watch any of the Bills game last night?
QB, I got to tell you, I would have, but this Amazon thing means I have to go through 3 different remotes. I got to turn this on, that on. I can't rewind it. It's just a pain in the ass, so I really don't. And I went and watched my wife play tennis, and that was just that was just a much better thing to do for me. So anyway,
did she play like Martina Navratilova last night?
She played hard, man. Her ground strokes were fantastic. Her partner was struggling a little bit, but I tell you, the game between the Bills and the Patriots last night, I heard so many people say, "Oh, New England +4, New England at home, they're gonna," this is the way it works in the gambling world. People get on these little beliefs that just because a trend is going a certain way, that's going to continue. Buffalo is so much better than New England on the field that it was a gift that the Bills were a 4-point favorite for anybody with any brains who's been watching football. It was the easiest bet in the NFL this season to me, was Buffalo laying a near 4 points to the stinking Patriots, and they dominated the game. Remember, Belichick doesn't play. He's just a coach. The material he has to coach is half that what Buffalo has. So to me, it was an easy play. I couldn't understand some of these people on Barstool and wherever else. Patriots. They're homers. Buffalo was the easiest.
Well, isn't Barstool based out of Boston?
Yeah, Dave Portnoy founded it.
There you have it.
There you have it. But the thing is that it for anybody with any kind of practical mind, and even the guys on Daily Wager were saying, the Patriots, the Bills have been struggling. The only way you can keep up with Buffalo, dude, is if you can score points. Patriots have trouble scoring points. The teams that can play with Buffalo are the teams that have good offense, and that ain't New England in terms of being able to score a lot of points. The Lions can score points. The Dolphins can score points. The Chiefs can score points. The Chargers can score points. Those are the teams that will play well against Buffalo, but Buffalo is clearly a better team. So that's my take on that game last night. It was the easiest pick I've seen all year in the NFL. It was just unbelievable. Buffalo -4? Really? You're going to give me the Josh? You're going to give me Josh Allen at 4 points? It's steal. It's like stealing money.
Natasha says here, if I could get this, I don't know what's going on with this thing. She says, well, it keeps going away. Let me find it. Here we go. She says, bowls are also for the guys who did the right thing. A reward, stuck with us, get some playing time. She heard that Gator Bowl's in the mix between us and South Carolina. I think it's going to be South Carolina. I have a friend that's on the Gator Bowl committee, and I don't think it's going to.
Let me tell you.
There's no way.
Let me say one more thing, QB, interrupt for a minute. I am so glad that the college football people told those elitists at the Rose Bowl that either you get on board or we're going to leave you at the station. And the Rose Bowl capitulated in 5 seconds. And everybody knows it. And nobody had the gonads to get on the Rose Bowl to change their insistence on New Year's Day at 5 o'clock. The reason why that game is most watched is because of the time slot. We get that. But why is it any greater than the Sugar Bowl? Well, because they call it the granddaddy of them all. You know what? It's the granddaddy of them all for people who were raised in the Midwest and in the far West. For folks here in the Southeast, you know what the granddaddy of them all is? It's called the Sugar Bowl. And so it just depends on where you live. And I'm so glad that the West Coast Midwest granddaddy of them all decided to get on board. Otherwise, they were going to be left out.
Are you in the market to buy or sell your home? Doreen Weeby, a realtor with Caldwell Banker, M.M. Parish, to provide you with fast, friendly, reliable service. Call her today at 352-562-1411.
Got me all worked up.
To help your dreams come true. Don't forget the second portion. We'll have Wayne Hogan from the Florida Rising Stars Project. He's got a couple things he wants to get out there to the public. Matt on the Titan of our text line from Mariana says, NIL is running the game of college football. College football used to be a sport of tradition, love of the region, and team. Now it's turning into a cold business, not much different than the NFL. Schools should have flat rate that they can offer to whatever players they want, from kickers to quarterbacks. That's kind of what they have right now. I do know that teams have this sheet, and it says starting quarterback, whatever dollar amount, backup quarterback, this dollar amount. All the big boys have kind of the same model. Yeah. And it just depends on where the kid wants to get his money from and go play.
Yeah, it does. It really does.
Who is this?
I think if I'm a kid, it has to mean more than money, though. I think where you live does matter. I mean, you can get paid X amount of dollars to live here. maybe slightly more to live over there, but living over there just doesn't seem right. I mean, there's a little bit more to it than just dollars.
Well, the more I think about it, that you brought that up,
yeah.
I'm thinking about Drake May's situation.
Yes.
Peyton, I caught a lot of crap for not going to Ole Miss.
Yeah.
This is back when it was like you just pick your school because I had great ties with my dad playing, my mom being a cheerleader, going to Ole Miss games my whole life. Right. Peyton caught the same crap from the Ole Miss faithful when he went to Tennessee. Could you imagine what Drake May's mom and dad, who I know his dad played quarterback, I think his mom was a volleyball or basketball or something. Could you imagine wherever they live in the state of North Carolina, if they decided to go somewhere else and play college football? Oh,
that matters.
It will be bad.
It absolutely matters. Yeah, it does. And I'm sure
Natasha asked, do they get taxed on NIL? Yeah, they get taxed on NIL money. Yes, they do.
I'm sure these kids from California catch it too. Why aren't you going to SC? Why are you going all the way across the country, to Louisiana or Alabama or whatever? I mean, but that's where the opportunity is for them in their mind to perform at the highest level to get the best opportunity to make it to the NFL. And so that's it. So, I mean, I don't think Najee Harris got millions of dollars to play at Alabama 6 years ago. And
yeah, but Najee Harris didn't have a dad that played at Southern California.
No, but
that's my point to the whole. That's the point to the story, JC.
But okay, well, how about the Brockemeyer twins? They didn't get. I doubt they got paid tens of millions of dollars.
No, they didn't want to go to Texas. Their younger brother played at Texas. Their dad played at Texas, but they decided to go to Alabama. And we don't know if they're going to stay at Alabama.
Well, I get it. They need to be on the field, but initially, dad playing at Texas was not the biggest issue. And, they got to get on the field too. And I see that. And
all right, this comes from the Florida boy on YouTube. YouTube sends me all these comments and I forget to get to them. Florida boy says, I can't wait. We need somebody with experience that can help us win games immediately and let the young guys develop. And playing a freshman will likely be another 6-6 season. Sam Hartman is the guy. We shall see. We shall see. All right, JC, you ready for the Peachland Dental? Gator Nation's #1 choice for dentistry in Port Charlotte surrounding areas. Visit them at peachlanddental.com. JC sits at 80 and 70 on the year. I'm at a smooth 72 and 78. Okay, real quick before we get to that, Van Der asked, Shane, if AR in fact does leave, do you feel any complicity in his decision?
What? Do you feel complicit in his decision to leave? Were you part of the reason there?
No.
That's what he's saying. Are you complicit in this?
No. I mean, first of all, if you have a chance to be a first-round draft pick, you go. But I'm telling these people, if he were to come back, you're going to go through the same thing you went through this year. I've seen it. I don't know. I mean, that, and again, that's my opinion. JC has his opinion. Van Der has his opinion. This guy over here has his opinion. I'm just telling you, I've seen a kid play since he's been in ninth grade. It's been the same. And people, the biggest thing that drives me insane is everybody wants him to run the football. Right?
Yeah.
But he ain't gonna, if he comes back next year, he ain't gonna run it, folks. I'm telling you. So I wish him the best. I think he gets drafted in the first round. He gets to not worry about school. He don't have to worry about people in town. He goes, it's his job. He can train with his quarterback coach year round and try to get in a good system, learn football, and see what happens. It's that simple.
I don't see the downside.
Yeah.
I don't see the downside.
No, there's nothing wrong with it. But I firmly believe if he were to come back, which he's not, people would be sitting here complaining about him not running the football. Inconsistency. That's the biggest thing with Anthony is consistency. And that's what you have to have at the quarterback position. So, but again, that's my opinion.
And whoever's going to throw their draft capital out on Anthony Richardson better figure out how to teach consistency because
that they all at that level, they all think it's the same way in the NBA. They all think that they can take a guy with skill sets and make them a player. I've been through it. I've been on teams with 5 first-round quarterback picks, and only one of those 5 lasted in the league more than 3 years.
Yeah. Wow. Who was that, by the way?
Carson Palmer. He was pretty damn good.
Yeah.
When I first saw him, I was like,
yeah,
this dude is going to be a stud.
Carson
The
Palmer.
other ones, I'm like, how in the hell were they drafted in the first round?
I still say to this day, the Bengals get to the Super Bowl with him if he doesn't get hurt in that playoff game against Pittsburgh when they when they played him, because they were dynamic. They were as good as they are today. And by the way, they are one of those teams, QB, nobody's talking about. It seems like they are under the radar, and they're the kind of team that can get right back to where they were last year if they get healthy, because they'll score points with Joe Burrow.
Oh, Joe Burrow is so ridiculous. It's crazy.
But why is it always Kansas City and Buffalo getting the attention, and we just forget about the Cincinnati Bengals, who beat the Chiefs last year, by the way, in Arrowhead, to get to the Super Bowl? And so Tennessee, Buffalo, Kansas City, Miami now is great. Blah blah. How about the Bengals? I saw them live, and that is a really, really solid football team. So.
All right, so what do you got, JC, for championship? We got to do some NFL games too now.
Okay, we've got a game tonight, man. This is going to get it started and help us get some clarity on the Final Four, and it is a big one. They're playing on a short week. I don't think anybody in the Pac-12 is happy about it, but they're going to be the only game on. So you've got the Utah Utes getting 3 against the Southern California Trojans, who've had a resuscitation under Lincoln Riley and Caleb Williams, who won the Heisman Trophy this year. And USC is a team that lost the last time they played, but that was in Salt Lake City. This game is in Las Vegas, which is exactly in between Salt Lake City and Los Angeles. It is right in the middle. You'll have probably an equal amount of fans from each school splitting up the stadium. It's going to be a great environment. First time ever in a Pac-12 championship game. And you're getting 3 points if you take the Trojans. I'm sorry, if you take the Utes.
Utah won on a 2-point conversion at home. I'm still got doubts with USC's defense, but they got the best player in America. I love their coach. I just think USC finds a way to get into the playoffs. I'll take the Trojans.
All right, they're laying 3. I will take Utah +3. I like the way the quarterback picked them apart last time. I think he'll do it again.
Well, do you know how many yards Caleb Williams threw for them? Like 480.
Yeah, 100 million. Yeah. No, I mean, USC could easily win this game and just.
Well, the only way USC loses this game is if Utah decides to just line up and run it right down their throat.
Get physical and set up.
But I thought Notre Dame was going to do that, and Notre Dame couldn't do it. So maybe USC has gotten a little bit better on defense. I don't know.
I don't doubt that. I probably should take USC, but I'll take the points. All right, here's the game in the Big 12. Another rematch. Kansas State had an 18-point lead against TCU in Fort Worth the last time they played this team. The problem with Kansas State is they lost both their quarterbacks in that game and had to finish with a third stringer, and TCU rallied. I think Kansas State is every bit as good as TCU on a neutral field, and I like Kansas State getting the 2 points, even though I'm kind of rooting for TCU. But this would create total chaos now.
Yeah, I think Kansas State's the better team, quite honestly, but I want to see TCU in the playoffs. Yeah. I love their story, so I'm just going to take the Horned Frogs. I don't blame them.
Okay. I mean, it wouldn't break my heart at all to see that happen. I picked this game out because, to me, the Sun Belt Conference has really had a great year, and they played some really good teams and won. And Coastal Carolina's getting 8.5 from Troy. This is a Sun Belt championship game, and it's being played at 3:30 over in Troy, Alabama. They'll have a big crowd there, about 25,000 fans. And Troy's laying 8.5. They are a very athletic team. Coastal Carolina's had some issues with injuries. I'm going to take Troy.
I'm assuming Grayson McCall is out of this game, their quarterback.
Yeah, so you got to take Troy.
Well, I'm going to take Coastal just for the heck of it.
Okay. Well, you're getting 8. That's nothing to sneeze at. Central Florida playing the Gus Malzahn will bring his team to Tulane for the AAC championship. That's in New Orleans at Tulane's campus. Tulane is +3.5 or -3.5 rather. It's a great story. Willie Fritz, 10-2. He went 2-10 and flipped the record to 10-2 this year. I'm taking Tulane. How can you not love the Green Wave? I'm going to go with the Wave.
I like Tulane. They've already lost at home to UCF already a couple of weeks ago, but I think they get them this week.
Get it done. We get to the ACC, and this is the Drake May getting the 8. Boy, they've really kind of crumbled the last couple of weeks. They're playing Clemson. Clemson -8. I'm just going to take the points in what I think will be a high-scoring game. So give me Carolina.
Yeah, I'm taking the better quarterback. Their defense stinks, but Clemson cannot move the football.
You talk about Southern Cal's defense being sad. This Carolina defense is not even optional. They just can't play. They just can't play. I don't understand it. G. Chiswick is such a good coach, too. They just must not have any good players on that side of the ball. In the Big Ten, bad news yesterday for Michigan with Blake Corum now out for the rest of the season. But, boy, they sure played well without him against Ohio State. They are laying 16.5 points to Purdue. I think Purdue gets a backdoor here. Now, Aiden O'Connell, the Purdue quarterback, is scheduled to play in this game, but he had a personal tragedy in his family with his brother dying this week. So he hasn't, I don't think he's been practicing. He's been dealing with the death of his brother. That is difficult. That's a hard thing to do. Then play a football game on Saturday. He hasn't practiced, I don't think, but I don't think it matters at this point of the year because we're so far at the end of it now. But 16.5 against Michigan. Michigan could run them over by 30, but I think Purdue's going to cover, so I'll take Purdue.
Yeah, I'm a big Jeff Brom guy, so I think he keeps it close with their passing attack.
You like Purdue? Okay. Well, again, it's up to O'Connell. I mean, he's their guy.
Yeah.
LSU 17.5 QB. You're sitting in the building. Georgia and LSU folks have played in this game, I think 3 or 4 times. This is not a rare meeting between these two, because if it's not Alabama, it's generally LSU out of the West. So they're getting 17.5. Their quarterback Daniels is going to play. He was in a boot on Monday, but maybe their worst game of the year at Texas A&M last week. I got to think Brian Kelly's going to get him to play a little bit better. Georgia's got everything going for him. 17.5 QB. What do you think? That's a lot.
It's a lot, but I haven't been on LSU. I didn't think they were. When I saw them in person here, I didn't think they were very good. It's a good story. Give them credit for getting to the championship game. I just think Georgia's clearly a better football team, and I think this is a rout.
Okay, I'm going with you there. I'm a Bulldog all the way to the finish here this season. I think 2 weeks ago they were even money to win the national championship. Now they are almost a 2-1 favorite. So I think they roll. They win this game 42-17, something like that.
What else we got? Is that it?
I don't think LSU is going to be able to stop them. All right, so I'm sorry I feel under the weather here, folks. I know the energy level is low. But it is Friday. We're at the end of the season, so I'm sure I'll get a break here. All right, we got some good NFL games. I'm going to go real quick. Jacksonville is at Detroit. Our glorious Jags are laying a point. How about that? A favorite at Detroit. I don't like that. I think Detroit will get them at home. They're playing in Detroit. I think it's going to be a tough order to stop the Lions. I'll
take the Lions as well.
Okay, we got a good one in Philadelphia. The Titans are getting 4.5 at Philadelphia. That's a big number to give Tennessee, a tough defensive team. But Philly at home, man. Philly at home is no joke. I'm going to take the Eagles because I think at home they're just a much more explosive team, and they'll score a lot of points in this one.
I'll take the Titans.
You got Tennessee. I took Philly -4.5. We've got the Dolphins catching 4. The Red Hot Dolphins, the first of 3 tough road games for them, catching 4 at your 49ers, QB.
I'll take the Niners at home.
Yeah, I like that too. I think the Dolphins at home are very good. I think on the road you can snip them. I'm not going to bother with the Saints and Bucks. That's on Monday night anyway, so we'll talk about it then.
All right, JC. Go take some medicine, my friend, and get some rest.
I got to get myself together for a huge match today at 1:00 over at the Hawkstone. they say there's going to be a glorious field of players and a special guest coming to the match today. So he tried to get me last time, but he was appended. I got him. So I'm sure he's going to try to come back and get me today. So good luck to him. I think we know who he is. So
I want to mention too, Dave and Buster's. I know you're a big fan of Dave and Buster's. They're a sponsor. So JC, when you need to go play some games, head on over to Dave and Buster's and tell them who you are.
I was there in Dallas last week. It's a great place. Yeah.
Well, the Dallas Dave and Buster's does you no good. They won't take care of you like they will here.
They will here. Okay, I'll make sure I do that. Thank you.
All right, that's JC Joyce on the Titan Number Hotline. We're going to take a timeout. We're going to come back. We'll be joined by Wayne Hogan from Florida Rising Stars Project. We'll play a little video, and then we'll hop into an interview with him. You're watching and listening to Pilot Matthews in the Morning. Time to pay the bills, and we appreciate all these great sponsors. Our premium sponsors: Crime Prevention Security, Titan MRI, Meldon Law, Peachland Dental, Comfort Temp, QC Kinetics, Campus USA Credit Union, Dave and Buster's. Our gridiron sponsors are Auto ER, UF Bookstores, Celebration Point Town Center, Chris Doring Mortgage, Silverback Concrete, Ruse Odra, Doreen Weeby Realtor. Our touchdown sponsors: Adams Ribs, Gator Dominoes, Celebrate Primary Care, Gator Bait Media, Okido, Style Cuts, Ironwood Golf Course, Big Mills, MB Listing, McDonald's Gainesville, 84 Lumber, Tropical Smoothie, Aver and Smith, Dowling Signs, Baker Sporting Goods, Silver Cube.
Hi there, this is Steve Spurrier, and I'd like to say that I thoroughly enjoyed working with Coach Bobby Bowden as we were the ambassadors for the Florida Rising Stars Foundation that we worked together for the last several years. I know we were all deeply saddened with his passing, but now we would like to do everything we can to help complete his wish and mine and to share faith, family, and football with our youth here in the state of Florida. So please help the Florida Rising Star Foundation in their mission to distribute meaningful books and DVDs to the high schools across our state of Florida. The Gators and Seminoles alike will agree. The importance of sharing these valuable lessons with our young people is something we must do. Thanks.
Welcome back to the Crime Prevention Security System Studios, large enough to serve you, small enough to care. Celebration Points, where the Gators go to celebrate. With premium brands like Nike, International Diamond Center, Dave & Buster's, Palmetto Moon, Escape Apology, Visors Rooftop, and the HBC's Restaurant. Spurrier's Gridiron Grill, the #1 celebrity polished casual restaurant in America. We'll see you at Celebration Point, where the Gators go to celebrate. We're now going to go to the Titan MR Hotline, and we're joined by Wayne Hogan from the Florida Rising Stars Project. Morning, Wayne. How are you?
Hey, good morning, Shane. How are you today?
We're doing well. I appreciate you taking the time to join our program. What's new with you folks, and what you got going on?
Well, I appreciate you taking the time to have us on again. I've been on with you several times, and I appreciate that. And you know, as a consequence of that, we've our little foundation, Florida Rising Stars Foundation, has done very well up in the Gainesville area. Our primary mission, just to go back and remind folks, is we're doing something that's very unique, and I'm not sure anybody else in the space is doing it. We're going to high schools and we're teaching high school students about careers in sports. And we're talking about behind the scenes careers, everything from broadcasting to sports officiating, athletic training, coaching, all the things that young people can get into and do as a living, as a vocation in the world of sports. We just see a great opportunity there. As you know, I was a sports administrator for many years, 35 years in college sports, and the absolute explosion of the amount of dollars that are being expended in these sports programs, be it colleges or professional level, is amazing. And the staffs that they're hiring, I don't have to tell you that the number of people that work behind the scenes in a big time athletic program is in the hundreds, numbers in the hundreds of jobs. So we're telling these high school kids about that. And actually we're coming up to Gainesville next week. We have a session. We take some really good mentors and counselors into the schools that teach the various areas, that are professionals in the business of, in broadcasting and sports officiating and coaching. And so we'll be in Gainesville at PK Young on next Wednesday. We'll be there throughout the day, and we'll be taking up one of the classes during the day. So we'll filter in about 150 or so senior students at PK Young, and then we'll be back there probably right after the first of the year. We have a session scheduled at Newberry, so we'll be up in that range before. We've already done Buchholz and had a really successful opportunity there. But it's been fun, and the kids really accept it and they understand it, and we it's fast paced, and we go in and get that done. So we're excited about that part. That's the core of our business. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Well, no, I was going to ask you. I know that you know Bobby Bowden obviously passed away, but he was very involved. He and Coach Spurrier. And don't y'all have some books that Coach Bowden that y'all are going to give away?
I was going to move into that. I know you guys maybe have shown the video from Coach Spurrier. We have come across a very exciting opportunity. We were able to procure the last remaining vestiges of a tremendous documentary on Coach Bowden that was done 3 years ago, just a year or so before his death. And it chronicles his life. It's the Bowden dynasty, but the tagline is a story of faith, family, and football. And the story really is about how Coach Bowden was able to do his business and do it at the very highest level, win national championships, coach Heisman Trophy winners, and do it in a very faithful and right way. And the message to young people is you can be successful and still do things right, and not cheat, and teach these kids to, that there's more to life than just football. There's a family and there's your faith. And so the story is intertwined all throughout this documentary. And there's a book that came out that actually accompanied the documentary tape on the Bowden dynasty. So it's all chronicled in writing and also on DVD. And what our mission is right now, we've gotten the very last vestige of that. There are no more left other than the ones we now maintain, the DVDs and the books. And we're trying to do what Coach Bowden asked us to do. He was one of our great ambassadors, one of the very first ambassador. And then Coach Spurrier, the head ball coach, was second in joining our team of ambassadors. And so Coach Bowden, before his death, wanted to make sure that this story, the story of faith, family, and football, was distributed throughout young people across Florida. Well, who better to do that than the Florida Rising Stars, because we're in these high schools and we're going in to teach other things about careers and that sort of thing. But we can take these materials and we can make sure they're distributed. So we're in a process of doing that right now. And the head ball coach has been just tremendous in supporting this. It seems a little bit odd that Seminoles and Gators team up on something, but this is something that I think even Coach Spurrier understands is important, that these youth, these young kids in high schools understand these principles, because certainly he was the same kind of guy. I mean, he's the kind of guy that was part of this generation that really felt strongly about their faith and bringing that to every opportunity in the football building. So now we've embarked on that mission. There's a cost just like everything else. We're a 501c3. And so what we're doing is we're raising chunks of $250. That would we're asking for $250, which would provide a case of books, 24 books, and 2 DVDs to each high school that we go into. And then those can be distributed throughout the high school in whichever manner the athletic director or the football coach or the principal wants to do. We're really excited about these DVDs getting into getting into the schools, because it's a very inspirational and powerful message, and we think that coaches can use those DVDs as as something to share with the kids, with their student athletes. So it's a mission of love for us, because we want to support what Coach wanted to do, and we've gotten off to a great start. We've got quite a number of cases that have gone out to high schools. We're going to be bringing a case and some DVDs to PK Young. We'll get a case to Buchholz, and then later at Newberry when we do our program there.
At Chris Doring Mortgage, they do mortgage lending right, helping homebuyers throughout Gainesville and North Central Florida. Call Chris Doring Mortgage today at 352-244-0840. Speaking with Wayne Hogan from the Florida Rising Stars organization, we got a text on the Titan Mart text line from Sharon. Sharon wants to know, are you only visiting Gainesville high schools?
No, not at all. In fact, we've done a number of programs elsewhere. We've done some down here in the Tampa Bay area, Seminole High School down here in Tampa. We've got some visits in Tallahassee. They're going to take place after the first of the year. We've just and we've got some in the Orlando area that are scheduled for later on. But no, it's a statewide operation. We've had more success though in the Gainesville area than anywhere else. We've had a lot of corporate support. The Melton Law Firm has been tremendous. Melton Law Firm has been tremendous as a supporter of ours. The head ball coach has been a huge supporter of this process, and we've just Campus USA Credit Union has been very helpful. Capital City Bank there in Gainesville. So we've had a number, Blue Cross, Blue Shield, Florida Blue, I guess it's known now. All of those have stepped up in the Gainesville area to support what we're doing, and we're really tickled about it. So no, it's a statewide operation.
Andy's got a question on Facebook Live brought to you by Melton Law. He says, Wayne, do you have any specific success stories to share? Y'all are in such y'all just started this, I believe, last year. So have you had any, I guess he's asking anybody that's come to one of these programs that wants to be an official or whatever, but has any good stories come out so far? A little early for
that, because the people we've addressed so far are still in high school. But we do here's what happens. We have 5 instructors that go in, people that cover each of the areas that I've talked about previously. And it's inevitable that when we finish the session, that some students will come up and gravitate towards, whether it be a coach that talks about how to get into coaching, whether it be a broadcaster. So we've got that interest going, and we try to establish that long-term relationship with the kids. So if they come up, we tell them how to continue to be in touch with our professionals and our instructors. We talk to them also, Shane, about what skills do they need to acquire? I mean, we're not actually teaching them how to do these professions. We're teaching them that they're out there to be had, and here are the kinds of skills that you're going to need to acquire. Here are the kind of classes you're going to need to take. Here's the kind of education you're going to need to get if you're interested in doing each of these different things. So that's really the core of what we do, is we get these kids, head in the right direction. Many of them don't even realize that all this exists out there. And honestly, Shane, you remember being in high school, you're not thinking about the rest of your life, the career that you're going to be in the rest of your life. Some of this is going to come back, later on when they go to college. They need to earn a few bucks, and so there's ways that they get involved. So, we will have some success stories. That's a great question. And at some point in a year or two down the road, I'm going to come on your show, and I'm going to have some kid that is already gainfully employed as a podcast host. It's going to be right there where you're sitting.
That'd be great. Wayne, before we let you go, we appreciate your time. Let everybody know where they can donate, the website, all that good stuff.
Yeah, it's good. All of our information about what we do and how we do it is on our website, and it's the easiest website ever, FloridaRisingStars.com. Our organization is Florida Rising Stars. So go to FloridaRisingStars.com. you can find out about the Bowden Dynasty Project and also all of the other things that we have going on.
Wayne, appreciate your time, buddy. Happy New Year if I don't talk to you till 2023, and we'll see you down the road, my man.
Same to you, Shane. I appreciate your time.
Yeah, that's Wayne Hogan joining us on the Titan MR hotline. Going to take a quick time out, come back, wrap up this Friday edition, and get to some of your text messages. You're watching and listening to Pod Oak Matthews in the Morning. Time to pay the bills, and we appreciate all these great sponsors. Our premium sponsors: Crime Prevention Security, Titan MRI, Meldon Law, Peachland Dental, Comfort Temp, QC Kinetics, Campus USA Credit Union, Dave & Buster's. Our gridiron sponsors are Auto ER, UF Bookstores, Celebration Point Town Center, Chris Doring Mortgage, Silverback Concrete, Ruse Odra, Doreen Weeby Realtor. Our touchdown sponsors: Adams Ribs, Gator Dominoes, Celebrate Primary Care, Gator Bait Media, Okito, Style Cuts, Ironwood Golf Course, Big Mills, MB Listing, McDonald's Gainesville, 84 Lumber, Tropical Smoothie, Aver and Smith, Dowling Signs, Baker Sporting Goods, Silver Cube. Welcome back to the Crime Prevention Security System Studios, large enough to serve you, small enough to care. Ruse Ogre State Farm Office is a team of dedicated insurance professionals ready to help life go right with the right insurance options for you and your family. Visitogreinsurance.com. Give them a call at 352-240-1779. I want to thank JC for giving us his Peachland Dental weekend picks, and also Wayne Hogan from Florida Rising Stars Project. This day in sports brought to you by our good friends at Comfort Temp. Comfort is our business. Peace of mind is our promise. Beat the summer heat. Schedule your air conditioners tune up today, keeping you chill in the Florida heat. Far away, Comfort Temp Heating and Air. Give them a call at 352-376-2366. This day in sports in 1989, the 55th Heisman Trophy was awarded to Andre Ware, quarterback of the Houston Cougars. Boy, he slung it around in the run and shoot. That's brought to you by our good friends at Comfort Temp. I've had a lot of people text and ask questions about Dejon Reynolds. What do I think about that? Look, I think he's a good little player. Maybe that when he's sat down with the coaches and they have a big time recruiting class coming in, I'm sure they're going to get some guys in the portal. Maybe he didn't feel like it was a good fit, and I wish him well. We'll see where he ends up going. But yeah, I was a little surprised at that, but you never know what kids are thinking. So anyway, there was one other Facebook Live I saw here when we were talking to Wayne I wanted to get to if I can find it. But in the meantime, yeah, so we got, I don't know when the Gators play basketball next. I should know that, right? Oh, here's the text right here. It says kids getting significant NIL money should not get a free scholarship. Well, that is interesting. Maybe as this thing goes year in and year out, they're going to have to change it somehow, because it's going to be crazy, some of the amount of money these kids are getting. And I don't know what to do. I really don't. We'll see, because this is going to be the first year of a lot of money being thrown around. We'll see how many kids are getting big money. But I do hear you there, because those scholarships are worth a lot of money, especially if you're coming from out of state. It ain't cheap. It ain't cheap at all. Again, I want to thank Dave & Buster's for jumping on board. If you know anyone with the business that wants to jump on board, we'd love to have them as well. Hope you have a great weekend. We'll recap all the championship games. We'll know where the Gators are playing next time we're on this podcast. I don't know where we're going to go, quite honestly, but we'll find out Sunday afternoon. Hope you have a great weekend, folks. See you on Monday. Take care.